Okay, everyone, thank you for showing up. If you happen to get on this workshop last week when I had a crazy amount of technical problems going on, I commend you for showing up again now because it was embarrassing last week. I'm not going to lie. Earlier in the year, I did some webinars in January and we had a similar problem with the site crashing because there were too many people hitting my website, which was putting too much on my host's server. And so my host had told me to upgrade, and they suggested a particular server. So I did that. So needless to say, last week I was completely blindsided with the problems that popped up. Anyway, here I am. It's working. Thank you for showing up. This is how to get started and sell out your beginner level photography workshop for moms. These workshops are designed to connect you with your dream clients, add an easy income stream, and be your best platform to educate your community on how awesome documentary sessions are, all in one, believe it or not. So let's get right in there. I would love to know, pop into the comment area, which sounds like you. A, your photography business isn't as lucrative as you'd like it to be, and you're wondering if workshops would be a way to boost your income. B, you found this talent and love for documenting with your camera, but you're not sure how to help others get it, meaning that you feel like you're getting all of these people that aren't quite valuing this approach and they're constantly turning back into a traditional portrait mode, and you want to share this knowledge and excitement with them. C, you know you need to grow your audience both online and off, but when you think of approaching people like, "Hi, I'm Marie, I'm a photographer," you cringe. You want to know, how do I network without being pushy or sounding desperate? D, you've discussed doing workshops, or not discussed, you've considered doing workshops, but you're not sure how to structure them, like all of the details and the logistics. Or E, you aren't sure if you are ready for workshops, so you're wondering, am I even qualified to teach? So pop into the comment area, tell me which letter most sounds like you. So it looks like I have been seeing lots of B's and D's. So interesting, no matter what letter you are, or maybe you're a mix of a few, I've got you covered. After today, you'll know how to get your first workshop filled and get more workshops from workshops using my 6-year specialty in booking more bookings during presentations. You'll know what you need to know about photography and gear before running a workshop to alleviate that nagging, "Am I really qualified?" voice. You'll know what content you should cover and how workshops will connect you with your dream client. And we'll talk about the potential income here. And finally, we'll also talk about if workshops are a smart business move for you now. At the end of this, I'm going to talk about a really exciting showing up gift that you are qualified to receive just for showing up on today's workshop. So allow me to introduce myself before we begin. I promise I'll keep this part short and sweet. My name is Marie Moss. I am a documentary photographer and the founder of Fearless and Framed. Unfortunately, I haven't been shooting all that much lately, so I kind of feel like the community forgets that I even am a photographer behind the camera. But Fearless and Framed has become my full-time job over the past year, which has been amazing. So most of the time, my days are now filled with helping photographers learn how to shoot in a documentary approach and take that approach into their client sessions as well as rock their business, because I have been the sole entrepreneur in my world for almost 10 years now, which is pretty crazy. So this is a sneak peek behind the scenes look at the new Fearless and Framed website that'll be coming out later this year. Do you like it? I am loving this clean look that we have, and the image that you see in the background, the image of those photos. In those photos, the woman that you see is my grandma. So my brand designer, she chose that image to put there, And I couldn't have been more pleased to see that. I thought it was a really fun way to honor my grandma. She passed away in 2008. And it's a solid representation of what Fearless and Framed is all about. I'm all about preserving stories, history in the making, memories in the making, however you want to describe it, in photo sessions that are completely uncoached. You're there and you're photographing them in the moment, but it's real moments that matter. So I hope that makes sense. Here's how workshops have helped me. For one thing, they've given me a seasonal cash flow as low as $570, which I think is still pretty darn good, and then or $1,000 plus per workshop. One time I had someone that couldn't make it to one of my workshops, and then she ended up turning into a full one-on-one mentoring student. I've met many local potential dream clients in person doing this route. And a model one time, the mom of the models, I should say, turned into a documentary family session client and recently reached out to book a session with me, all because she was hooked on my approach to photography from listening into the workshop and mixed in with just seeing my photos online. And this is where it all began. This is where the magic happened. My first workshop, and actually many workshops, have happened in this very room. It looks a little different now. There's furniture in here for one thing, trim up on my floor. This is an addition on the back of our house, and from floor to ceiling, it's all windows. It's got a ton of open, even light in there. So, at first glance, it's like, oh, this is perfect for a workshop. It's nice and bright, and it keeps the energy going in there. But I've got to tell you, I like to do my teaching in there, but when I start to do my practice shooting, I go in different parts of the house because that's what they're going to see at home. Most people don't have this big room that's got all of this natural light. In addition to that big wall of windows, there's windows on one other wall and a sliding glass door on the opposite. So there's a lot of light coming in here, which again is wonderful for the energy, but not so great when you're trying to give people examples in real life and trying to see the light. And I bring this up because people are always asking me, where do I host a workshop? So I don't want you to see this big, beautiful, natural lit up room and think that that's what you have to find, because it's not true. But I'll talk about locations a little later on. So who are the workshop veterans in here? Pop into the comment or chat area, whatever you want to call it, and let me know your experience in the workshops. I'm going to read a couple of those. I'll be reading those a little bit later, but I want to just get your story. I'm curious at what your experiences have been. I really pride myself in driving these products and webinars and things that I do based off of what you guys are doing and your experiences. So let's think about this. What if there is a way to make a part of your business be the window to new consistent business? Sounds pretty good, right? My mission is for you to leave this workshop confident in running your own workshop while getting your students hooked on documentary photography and spreading your name and your business around your community like wildfire. So let's get right on in there. Section 1, how workshops will connect you with your dream client. We can tell people until we are blue in the face how awesome documentary sessions are and how it can preserve their memories. But it's only in revealing how this shooting approach has made a difference in our own lives in a way they can recognize and feel their own feelings in when we can successfully break through. Beginners photography workshops for moms can be that personable platform for you. So let's get into the math side of it all. Say you just run 2 in-live person workshops every quarter of the year, and you average 8 seats per workshop. That's 16 new faces you are in front of every quarter, or 64 a year. And I have it in all caps because I need to shout it. In real life. This is such an important thing. How many people are you reaching out to now in real life? I realize that 16 or 64 may not seem like big numbers, especially when you are used to seeing like a couple hundred or more for a Facebook reach on a post. But those people aren't connected to you in real life. A lot of those people are just skimming over your stuff. So these are new relationships that you're forming. And I feel like a lot of people these days, not just photographers, but business owners in general, it's really easy to hide behind the internet and market through social media and blogging and all of that. Maybe send a message out to a local business. So I want you to really think about this. How many people are you reaching out to now and building relationships with? So just think about it. It's 16 moms, if we're going off of that math, likely your ideal dream clients, warmer to booking because they are already invested in photography enough to learn more. 16 dreamies that may never have heard of documentary sessions, now getting hooked on the idea. 16 dreamies that will begin their journey with you as a student and graduate into a part of your most engaged audience. But here's a little disclaimer, that's only going to work when you conduct a workshop with a plan to maintain the relationship when the workshop is over. So 16 may seem like a small number, but unlike your other marketing efforts, you're getting paid as you market. I mean, that's freaking cool, right? It's not like all the blogging and social media that you're doing that take hours of your time. And I do believe in social media and blogging and online marketing for what it can be, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand quite how it works to make a real impact in your marketing, and it takes a lot more time. So think about the days before the internet and social media. How did people get business? They picked up the phone and got out there in person, right? So here's something really, really cool to think about. You'll design your workshop once. You get it all set, you'll practice it, knock it out of the park, and then it's going to be a marketing tool you have at your disposal for life. I know what you might be thinking. How can I sell sessions when people are paying me to teach? The answer is that you're not selling sessions while teaching the workshop. You market the documentary session approach by planting subtle little seeds throughout. So here are 6 ways workshops can connect you with your dream client. Number 1, you're filling your seats with your ideal client. So that's why I dubbed this workshop Beginner Workshops for Moms, because most of the people in the Fearless and Framed community are targeting families. And when I was really heavily active in photographing families, it was always the moms that I was talking to and connecting with. I very rarely spoke to the dads. So here's the thing. I'm saying that these are for moms. If your target client is someone a little bit different, you can tweak it. In fact, you could even set up targeted workshops for pregnant moms to learn how to take everyday photos of their babies, for example, if you are a birth or newborn photographer. So that way you're targeting these people before they get into that point in their journey when they need you as a photographer, and you're making this work for your target audience. Number 2, students are naturally warmer leads. It's easier to get repeat business than it is new business. Number 3, students will likely be hyper engaged when you maintain a relationship plan after the workshop. Number 4, students are now excited about the documentary approach. I don't know about you, but there are so many people that I speak with, like outside of my photography community, but just people in my own real life that assume that documentary photography is the same as lifestyle. Or I'm sure some of you have been in this situation where you get this client that's like, unposed, that sounds great. And they still just don't quite get it. And you show up at the session and they're looking at you to direct them, or they're like way overdressed for what's about to happen and things like that. You are going to hit home with these students in a whole new level, than more than you could ever do on the phone just trying to describe to a person what your sessions are like. Number 5, the know, like, and trust in you skyrockets being in person. And number 6, word of mouth will increase. More people will learn about you because more people are talking about you, not only just your photo sessions, but now also your workshops. So let's talk about how to fill up workshop seats. I hear this all the time. I'm afraid no one will attend my workshop. So let me ask you this. How engaged is your current audience with this topic? If your audience is not active in thinking about this topic currently, or you have a very teeny tiny audience, I highly recommend running a beta workshop. This will cut to the chase and get your workshop up and running quickly. Here's how in 5 steps. Number 1, decide on your actual pricing and overall goal in why you are doing workshops. This will determine who you want to fill the seats with. Number 2, or step 2, I should say, make a list of 20 to 30 moms you know. Do not overthink this. If they have created a human, they qualify. Step 3, reach out to each person individually with an invitation to attend. Include why this will benefit them. Explain how this is a steal as a beta workshop. Create a sense of urgency by telling them you sent this out to 30 moms you know, but this is limited to 8 to 10 moms, first come, first serve. We need that sense of urgency. Number 5, keep them excited with quick emails from now till the workshop. Find out what their experience has been so far with their camera. Who do they photograph the most? What do they like to do with their photos? Anything. So beyond doing a beta group, I've got a few ways to give you some ideas on how to market your workshops. Strive to book a workshop from your beta group, meaning find someone in that group that's willing to be a workshop hostess. We'll talk about this so much more in a couple more sections, but you may want to offer a ridiculously awesome incentive for doing this for your beta group person to just help kick everything off. Create a free, short and sweet video or some sort of a download. It could be a PDF, a guide, a cheat sheet, anything, where you teach them something first. Require that they need to opt into your email list to view it, and then you have an automated email series that follows, and that can help sell workshop seats. Post student interviews and results on your blog. Create an affiliate program for your students. Learn how to use Facebook ads with some serious strategy. That means don't be boosting your posts. Don't be like booking now or filling up seats now to cold audiences. Facebook ads could be a whole nother webinar in and of itself, but just know that I feel like if you're going to run Facebook ads, don't just get into Facebook and see what's in there. Like, do a little bit of research and have some training on that first. Offer a Facebook group owner to do a free webinar for the group on a topic in line with what you're teaching. So for me, my first workshop happened when it was sparked by a group of moms in a Facebook group that was about all things mommyhood. It was not a photography group, but the question, what kind of camera should I get, came up a lot. And when the group was really small, people would tag me, and I kind of became the go-to photographer in there. And anyway, one thing led to another, and that's how my workshop came about. But imagine like contacting a group owner that has an audience that would very much appreciate one particular topic that has to do with understanding cameras and photography, and offering something for them for free. And then at the end, mention, I offer a workshop for moms. It's only a few hours long. Come out. It's a Sunday morning, blah, 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 whatever you want to say. But that would be an easy way to get in front of a group owner, because it's not like you're taking over their group with a post, like a spammy post. You could also start your own Facebook group. I've seen several photographers doing this lately on like doing a photo challenge with people in their area, and those groups can fill up quite quickly. Make your workshop known all over your site and social media, and not just when you want to promote it. Make sure you have marketing material to get your audience in the mood. So you could blog or do a video on topics that are in line with understanding your camera or learning how to use your camera, for the first time and start sharing that so that way people start to think about the possibility of learning how to use their camera. Here are 7 ways to earn an income through workshops. Number 1, your personal workshop seat sales, meaning you don't have any kind of a hostess. This is workshops that you're putting on. Number 2, booking new workshops from workshops where you have a hostess involved. The booking or the workshop itself may be sort of a wash depending on the value of your sessions, but any print purchases that hostess would make after her freebie session would be sales for you. Students can register for an advanced or editing class. Students could upgrade to becoming a mentor student or purchase a photo review with you. You may have other products that you offer. Maybe you teach people how to use video, or you have an ebook or other digital tool. You could also tap into affiliate marketing. If you have a resource guide for your students, you could have affiliate links inside of that where you get a little bit of income if they end up purchasing one of those products. And students could book a session through a student-only session special, or maybe they just circle back to you later on when they need a session because you've built a relationship with them. So from this section, I want you to take action. Think about what kind of engagement you can do before launching your workshop to get the current people in your network excited about blank. So I left that blank because that blank is going to be why you are running a workshop, or what is the number one outcome you want your particular group of people to walk away from. So for example, going back to that targeted example where if you are a photographer that is a birth or newborn photographer and you target new moms or soon to be new moms and how to teach them how to use their camera to photograph their newborn in an everyday style, you could put that's what you want to talk about or what you want to focus on for engagement. Also, make your own list of who you can invite to your beta workshop and then write your email draft to invite them. Part 3, how to wildly grow your income and network with workshops. Think about your favorite in-home parties you've been invited to, like Scentsy, Pure Romance, Pampered Chef. What's your favorite? I have lots of Scentsy stuff in my home. The secret is to create an incentive plan. Help a workshop hostess earn something she wants for hosting a workshop and inviting all her friends you would otherwise never meet. And it's pretty genius, right? Incentive plans can include earning a mini session, a full photo session, print credit, an advanced workshop seat, digital products, or one-on-one mentoring or a photo review session with you. You may be thinking, but Marie, it's free to attend parties like Scentsy. Well, we all know when we're invited to those parties, you're pretty much expected to buy something once you're there, right? How many of you show up saying, I'll just buy 1 or 2 cheap things and I'll walk out $200 later? It's totally my story, for one thing. My average order when I was doing in-home parties myself was over $100 each. So in case you didn't pick up on this through some of the promoting for this webinar, I have 6 years experience in direct sales. From 2009 through 2011, direct sales was my primary source of income. I would probably still be doing it today had I not made a move from Canada to the US, because I left all my customers and my business basically behind, and I don't know, it just wasn't in my heart to start over again, and I got hit with the photography bug shortly after. But a lot of the principles that I learned in that business apply here when you run workshops. In this approach, your hostesses are selling tickets to an event that teaches them, their friends, something invaluable for the same price or less than a girls' night dinner and a movie, or a night at a concert, or that order from Pampered Chef. It's no different than doing a painting and wine event, or going on a wine bus tour, or a cooking class. You pay for the service up front. And I just did a wine bus tour not this past weekend, but the weekend before, and it was so much freaking fun. And I paid for that event, but then when I was at that event, I bought bottles of wine. So if you've ever done a workshop and struggled to fill the seats, in this approach, your hostess is doing the work for you. You still need to coach your hostess and keep her excited, but the reward of a new network of people rocks. So you may be thinking, but Marie, will people want to sell seats to their friends and family? If you really think about it, they're selling something that can truly benefit their friends and family. It's the knowledge to be able to preserve and savor their most favorite moments and stories, right? I mean, that's huge. I would choose that over a new kitchen gadget personally. I know not everybody's going to hold photography to a high value, but when it comes to the emotional side of photography and what it can actually do, that's some valuable, powerful stuff that we're talking about. Imagine your favorite photographer is offering you a free photo session. And all you have to do is get 5 to 10 of your friends to your home and 2 of those friends to book a workshop to bring their friends into. You're thinking, if I could just get this session for free that I'd never set aside money for otherwise, then I could afford to get our first family album. I could send out a stunning holiday card this year, give our wall a makeover, and most importantly, have memories preserved with me in them. On top of what you get, this isn't just for your benefit. Your friends will learn to savor and preserve their favorite memories with their kids and finally get the use out of the DSLR camera they paid for. Win, meet win. Bottom line, you're motivated to take action at this point. Your hostesses that are going to feel that same sort of emotion and excitement, they're going to easily start thinking of people to invite when she's motivated. Meanwhile, as she's promoting her workshop, your name is getting spread into your community like wildfire. I mean, that's amazing, right? Let's get back to the money question. You know, a lot of people are always asking me, what price should I put this at? And I don't want to answer that just straight up, here's what you should price it at. I mean, nobody can tell you what to price your workshops at, no more than we can tell you how to price your photo sessions. But let's talk about the income potential that you could have. Say Sarah hosts a workshop at $100 per seat, and there are 10 seats that are sold. That's $1,000 right there from that one workshop. And then say when you're at Sarah's workshop, 2 of her friends book a workshop, and each of those workshops have 10 people, which is another $1,000 each. So now you're at a grand total of $3,000 for a ridiculously small amount of time, and you got in front of 30 new people in your community. Say the chain of workshops continues and you average $2,000 workshops per month at any level. Maybe that's you do a beginner level workshop and an advanced workshop or an editing workshop. 2 per month. That's it, just 2. That's 240 people and $24,000 annually. I mean, holy freaking wow. And you're not really having to do a ton of work with this because, I mean, you're coaching your hostesses, but she's the one really networking for you. It's up to you if you want to use workshops as a seasonal asset or build a workshop empire. I mean, you can do it either way. You don't have to do this hostess route by any means, but if you are serious about using this as means to network and get your business in front of more people and educate people on documentary photography, this is the way to go. So I want you to take action now after this section. Determine why you really want to do workshops. Is it for the added income or is it to network like crazy? Think about your dream client and what may motivate him or her to book a workshop to kick off your incentive plan. Ignore the tomorrow slide that I just had pop up there. I was going to break this up into 3 different videos and then I said, what the heck, let's just do this all in one workshop, and I realized I forgot to take a couple slides out. Anyway, part 4, let's talk about key content to cover at workshops. I hear this more often than not. Can I really do this? I've only been a photographer for so long. I just don't know if I'm qualified or good enough yet to be teaching. Here's the thing. You do not have to be an expert speaker. You do not have to speak in a room of 20 plus people. You do not have to have 24 years of experience under your belt. You do not have to know every make or model of cameras out there. Here's the thing. You do need to require students to bring their camera manual. This seems to be a really hot topic when I speak about workshops. It's, do I have to know all these cameras out there? Like, that's embarrassing if somebody can't find something and then I can't help them. Nobody expects you to be like a gear salesperson here. You are there to help them learn how to use their camera, but there's no embarrassment, no problem in if they can't figure out where their aperture is, looking in their manual and in grabbing their manual. I can promise you, because you have been shooting for a while, it'll be easy for you to pick up that manual and figure out how to do that button, because the cameras aren't all that different. And I can just assure you, I mean, nobody put my camera in front of me and showed me where all the buttons are. And if they did, I can almost guarantee that 5 minutes later, I would have forgot what's what, because there's so much involved. So it's so much easier if you teach them to look it up and figure it out and kind of be there and guide them through it, because going through those motions and figuring it out themselves, it's going to make it stick to them to help them learn and remember where those buttons are the next time. You should have confidence before doing your first workshop in shooting in manual mode, your ability to see light, understand composition basics, recognize moments, and have a solid understanding of proper exposure. So you should be able to recognize and correct blown out highlights, shadows that are way too dark and lose detail. Think about the day you started to learn your camera. Did you have a whole bunch of topics thrown in you all at once? If you're anything like me and you were self-taught, you just started picking up little pieces as you went along, and you were digesting small pieces of information and then implementing them. The same is here. We've got to teach them the letters before we can teach them how to read. So your goal is to give them the basic understanding of the functionality of their camera and starting points to make better photos. Teach them about the opportunities they currently have in their possession, their voice, for example, what they see. I feel like this is such a big part of photography that is not really taught at a lot of workshops, at least that I've seen out there when I've seen the curriculum line up. You do not need to turn them into a pro. So I break my workshops up into 4 parts, and you're going to want to take notes here. These are the exact topics that I cover in my workshops. I'm going to go through the entire thing, and then I'm going to answer some questions, because there's always questions that come up about this. Part 1, have a solid introduction. You're going to welcome your students and say thank you. I think that goes without saying. Remind them why they are here to learn. Share your story that relates to them and plants the seed for documentary photography. And then engage with them. Really, you should be engaging with them throughout. So occasionally let them speak, pause for questions, things like that. Part 2, the technical side. You're going to want to do a basic lens rundown. Talk to them about focal lengths and the differences between prime and zoom lenses. Talk about camera feature basics, why some cameras cost more than others. This is really important to me to talk about, because they're seeing all of my photos that are made with my Canon 5D Mark III or Nikon D4. So, if they are coming to you with an entry-level camera, you don't want to set up the expectation that they're going to be able to achieve these images in low light that are as, clear as yours are. So I talk to them about the differences, and I talk to them about the crop frame sensor and the fact that that in low light, they're going to find some pixelation, especially if they're just using their kit lens, little things like that, just really basic things. Then you can mention any other additional tools that you use. I talk a little bit about memory cards, filters, and a couple other tools that I have in my camera bag. Talk to them about camera shooting modes. I go through this super fast. I basically want to tell them that this is auto, this is manual, everything else is in between. Then I talk to them about RAW versus JPEG and make sure that they're aware if they do switch their camera to RAW that they need to make sure they have an editing software. Then I talk to them about exposure and what that means and the exposure triangle. And yes, some of you are probably thinking, holy cow, this is super technical, super fast. There's a reason for that, and I'll get to that in a minute. Then I talk to them about focusing, the actual button on their lens that allows them to switch from manual to auto, and then how to choose a focal point. And I don't necessarily teach them what to focus on in a scene at this point. Right now, I'm teaching them how to use their camera to how to change that focal point, how to choose their focal point when they're shooting. And then extremely briefly, I talk about white balance. I don't even really get into this. I just tell them that auto white balance is really great in cameras these days, but if their image is really yellow or orange or really blue, that white balance would be what they want to learn about to correct that. So there's 3 things to do after the tech side. Let them find what settings are where on their camera, have them pull out their manual, figure out where the aperture is, how to change the focus, how to get their camera into spot focus, things like that. And then they need an object to use their light meter, throw their camera in manual, and use that light meter and your exposure triangle cheat sheet to get their photo to quote unquote perfect exposure, which I tell them is to get their light meter as close to 0 as possible. Then give them a pep talk. Set the expectation they aren't going to leave this class rockin' manual mode. And add to that. Share a little bit of your story and what it took for you to learn and finally feel confident in shooting in manual. This is really important to do that because going through this portion, I will not even sugarcoat it. It's tough. Some of your students are going to feel overwhelmed at this point. But it's really important that you cover these topics because in a minute when we get into the creative side, those are all fun and great and easy and things that they can implement right away. But going through this is going to leave them with something for them to work towards. Okay? So part 3, the creative side. Talk to them about how to get natural expressions, aka teach them to watch for them instead of coaching their subjects. Talk to them about using props and the environment to tell the story. Talk about basic composition techniques, the rule of thirds, moving your feet around. So many of these moms are going to come in to your workshop and they're used to standing up and shooting down at their child. So just such a quick and simple fix, such as getting low and down on their level, is going to be new to them. You can talk about examples of different light types. The goal here is to show them how to see light better than ever, not necessarily how to master challenging light scenes in their camera or anything like that. You just want to teach them how to see light. It's when they start to learn manual mode that they're going to be able to understand how to execute in those light scenes. So part 3.5, optional observation. You do not have to have a model, but I really like to bring in a model for my workshops. And I don't really like the word model because to me that implies somebody that's standing there and posing and I'm going to direct them. It's not like that at all. I choose an activity for a child to do at my workshops and then I photograph the child doing that. So for example, one of the workshops that I did in the past, I had a little girl go up into my daughter's bedroom where my daughter has a bunch of toys. The little girl was about the same age as my daughter, and so the girl was playing with Kendall's toy kitchen, and it was perfect. I brought half of the students up I split the students up. I brought half of the students up and then photographed around the little girl, and basically you just walk people through what you're doing and why so they can get into your brain. So a simple activity is really all that it takes, and I only shoot for 10-15 minutes at the most. It's not like some big photo session. Part 4, you need to have a solid closing. So when you come back together after the model portion, ask for any questions if they have any, and then jump into challenging them to think about the photos they really want. This is doing a couple of things. For one, you're teaching them how to look at their life in a whole different way, in a way that's of opportunity for photos. And to me, it's a beautiful thing because they start to see more opportunities, more goodness all around them. Use the Real is the New Perfect Challenge, which is a quiz from Fearless and Framed, and make this an interactive part of your workshop. I'm going to talk to you about that quiz a little bit later, but just know that this works like gangbusters to really tap into people's memory bank and really put into perspective the photos that they will be just ecstatic to have, if not today, later on in life. And when you're doing that, share your photography approach. Another thing you can do is share how to earn a free session at this point and ask for the workshop booking. So that's going into the whole hostess incentive thing. Now would be the time to talk about that. And then direct them into what is next. So a few details with some practice time in there. The workshop is about 2.5 to 3 hours for 8 to 10 attendees. I can be in and out in 2.5 hours at this point, but I mean, I'm like a casino dealer. It's like I get it done so fast because I've had so much practice. I personally suggest saving editing for an advanced or a next level workshop. People are always asking me if they should show people how to post process during this one workshop, and I do not believe that you should do that, because remember, you want to teach people the basic functionality of their camera and basic shooting techniques to improve their photos SOOC. I do not believe that it's a good idea to teach people how to correct a photo in Lightroom or Photoshop right off the bat, because they will create the habit of shooting and seeing, oh, this is a little overexposed, I can fix it later. And I do not think that's a good habit to instill with people. So are you with me? I'd love to hear your feedback so far. Pop into the chat area. Got a couple questions that have popped up. How do you collect payments when you have a hostess? It's from Selena. Great question. So I have a plugin on my website called WooCommerce. It's WOO Commerce, and it's free, but your site theme does need to be like have the ability to have like a store on there, or you can use something like eJunkie, which I think is $5 a month or something like that. And basically that allows you to add to cart buttons on any page of your site. You don't have to have a special theme, but that way you can send hostesses to one particular page and the payments are coming in that way. Does the hostess pay too? No, I've never charged my hostesses for any events. Do you offer a workbook? I do not. So what I do for my workshops is I have a slideshow. The truth is, I used to never use a slideshow. I used to just print off a whole bunch, like a stack of 5x7 photos and put them in order of how I was speaking. And then I would pass around those photos at the workshop, and it would literally go around the room and come back to me. I didn't give them the photos. I just passed them out. And there was notes on the back of the camera settings and why I was showing them that photo, so they could glance at that when the photo finally came to them. But it was distracting. I kept talking and they had to look down at these photos. So when they're looking at the photo or reading the notes on the back, then clearly they're not quite paying attention to me. So a slideshow is what I would prefer, but it's not necessarily necessary if you are in a situation where technology is not possible. But a slideshow really works. And so to answer your question about the workbook, what I like to do now is send my hostesses, or not my hostesses, all of my students, the PDF of the slide deck. Like the slides that you're seeing here on my workshop, you can export them in PowerPoint into a PDF, and boom, they've got a little guide. So if you're on the fence about my curriculum, here's what a couple of my past students have said. Marie's class gave me the courage and direction on how to finally take my camera off auto. I still have so much to learn, but I finally have pictures that are lit well without needing a flash most of the time, And now I know the basics of my camera too. Very helpful in a short amount of time. Amanda. I finally figured out how to take my camera off auto and get those beautiful blurry backgrounds. I also found the Facebook group to be very helpful. I'm still able to seek information even when class is over. It's from Melissa. So let's review. We've talked about a ton of information, and the truth is I could keep talking about this because I love this workshop topic. We have covered you do not need to create a groundbreaking workshop of never before heard of content. It doesn't need to be a workshop that's days long. You want to keep it simple. Workshops are a way to teach and communicate in a visual way that leverages this time to build up your relationship with potential clients while earning an income, which I think is pretty cool. You can maximize your workshop reach by building an easy incentive program inspired by direct sales. So I think it's safe to say workshops are an effective way to get your name out there, spread awareness on both documentary photography and your business, and give yourself an income raise. And best of all, help more families have more meaningful photos of their lives. So here's this one final section we're going to get into. Should I run workshops? Am I confident I could talk about photography basics to a friend or to a small group of people? Do I have some space in my calendar to fill for profit, if not regularly, then seasonally? Am I in need of networking because not a ton of people even know my photography business exists in my area? Have I been a photographer for a while and have an existing client base that would just eat this up? And am I wanting to shoot more documentary sessions, but it feels like most of the people in my area are like, docu what? Or they think they can take, quote unquote, these photos themselves. If you've answered yes to any of these, you're definitely ready, and workshops, I can assure you, will rock your business. So I don't know why you showed up today, but please don't let these two common roadblocks stop you. Number one being, okay, now I have all of these content ideas, but what do I actually say about each thing? Or how do I plant seeds and tell a story that is compelling inside of my workshop? This all sounds great, but how do I find the time to put this project together? I've got you covered. If you're with me, I want you to pledge right now. Raise your hand. Do it. Seriously, raise your hand. I am going to start growing my business by helping moms see the more beauty in their world and use their camera to document it. I will help moms see how they can photograph so much more than those Sticker of the Month series and encompass a real, meaningful memory into their photos. Today, I pledge to stop relying only on the internet and show up in person to make real-life connections. So I've put together a little package. Well, it's actually not so little if I'm telling you the truth. This package will teach you word for word what I say and do to market and sell an easy beginner level workshop. Literally, you can swipe my entire workshop. You'll learn how to plant seeds through the entire process to turn your workshop students into an engaged audience. This will save you heaps of time with a professional look because the content is done and ready to use right now. All you have to do is add your photos. This package will wow your students with the cheat sheet tools to take home in their swag bag. This will teach you how to create a system to upsell your services and turn students into clients. Basically, I've done all the planning and prep work for you. Pretty awesome, right? So let me introduce, without further ado, Profitable Photography Workshops for Moms. This package is everything you need to add an income stream, get people hooked on storytelling or documentary photography, whatever you want to call it, and grow your network like crazy by helping others. So no more like feeling like you're pushing your sessions in people's faces and blogging with no response. You're going to get out there and help people and make a difference for them and your business at the same time. So this is what almost everything looks like. Profitable Photography Workshops for Moms will be your golden ticket to implement my workshop into your business within the next 30 days. Included is the complete guide to running photography workshops for moms. This has a ridiculous amount of information inside, and the way that I designed this is so that it's like I'm answering all of the FAQs that come in and teach at the same time. For example, I even get into how to turn this workshop into an online workshop, and I talk about how to make videos. I talk about how to get a model and work with a model. Like, what do you have to have them do? Things like that. I talk to you a little more in depth, quite a bit more in depth, I should say, about pricing and the exact email that I've used for my beta products, from my workshop to even the Mastery Moment Seekers course. The exact email that I send out that works every single time. Suggestions to set up a workshop incentive plan. What to do if only 3 seats or however many sell, and if you want to double your attendance, how to save that, salvage that workshop. The number one thing you need to have set up when students purchase a seat. How to develop a community within a Facebook group. And 3 exercise ideas for your students for after the workshop. Like, this thing is loaded with information. There's not even a single image in here. It's so packed with valuable knowledge. Moving on, also included in Profitable Photography Workshops for Moms is an access pass to all 4 of my workshop demo videos. It's about 2 hours, a little bit more in length, and it's like you're sitting there as the student listening to my workshop. So this is really, really important. If you are really hung up on what to say, this is your answer. It also includes a PDF word for word transcript, so you can take this and either go ahead, copy it verbatim if you want, or you can inspire it, use it as inspiration to make your own. Also included are content-filled slides exact to my own demo for you to use without Fearless and Framed branding, so you can truly make the slides your own. So what does that mean exactly? Is that you can see all of the wording is on these slides, and each slide has a few different variations, so you can pick and choose what you want, and then you can just drop in your photos, delete the slides you don't want to use. You can change the text if you want to. It's not like it's set in stone, but it's there to save you a heck of a lot of time, and it goes exactly to my demo. But what I was feeling was really important here is that I made sure that this workshop is yours. The Fearless and Framed logo is not on this stuff. I want you to put your logo on this. I want you to take this to your community so people don't recognize Fearless and Framed, but they recognize you. Included are 4 cheat sheets to send home with your students, including a light guide template, an exposure triangle cheat sheet, the photo wish list worksheet, a scavenger hunt that I use during the workshop to help them figure out where their aperture is and that kind of thing. And then there are 2 organization sheets for you, a sign-in sheet so you can track who actually showed up, and an open date sheet for bookings. You hear me talk about that inside of my workshop demo videos. That's actually a sheet that I pass around with very strategic instruction to get them to book a workshop or a session right then and there. Included is a workshop planner to help you map out your workshop. My goal is for you to have this project done within the next 30 days or less. I mean, you could be far less because the content is done for you. There's a slide planner inside of this Workshop for Moms planner, so that way you can locate the photos, make sure you have a photo for every type of slide you've got going on. It's going to walk you through how to create an incentive plan and pricing, the logistics, like the locations. You will be able to do just kind of map out everything from before and even after the workshop. Inside is going to be the Real is the New Perfect Photo Challenge. This is a bonus, and it is the signature quiz to help people visually get it when it comes to the need for photos that matter. The only other way to purchase this item or to get this item is to purchase the Client Attractor tool set from Fearless and Framed. This is not an item that's sold individually. You'll also gain access to the private instructor lounge on Facebook called Profitable Photography Workshops for Moms. You will create your own workshops for moms ready to teach at your disposal. This will be a brand new income stream to your business, or a better one if you have ran workshops in the past. This will be a platform to spread awareness and inspire your community about documentary photography and just your business name in general. And one of my favorite things about this, going through these workshops and practicing these workshops, I can guarantee the more that you do these workshops, your communication skills for yourself when talking about this genre as a photo session, or even just talking to your inquiries, is going to just improve like crazy, because you're going to have so much practice under your belt. So if you're one of those people that are answered to the question, what do you do? I'm a photographer, and it just feels weird trying to have that elevator pitch. This is going to help you when you're doing these workshops. You will also create more relationships with moms in your area that are likely your dream clients, and it's so much stronger than online relationships. It's pretty amazing. I mean, I can sit here and I could write a blog post about all this stuff that I just taught you, but just hearing my energy and my voice is so much more impactful, right? When you're talking about stories from your own life that your clients can relate to, or potential clients or students, whatever you want to call them, they can feel that energy so much more in person than they ever could reading a blog post or an email, or even, I would say, even a video. I mean, online workshops are really great as well, but in a different way. So just know that when you are doing these in-person workshops with this product, you are going to just make really, really strong connections with local people, which I think is super important. Anyway, moving on. I've got a really fun fast action bonus. This bonus will be going away in 48 hours. If you are listening in from the webinar from last week, the bonus was extended due to all the technical difficulties from last week, but it's working now. So 48 hours, this bonus will end. What it is the Client Testimonial Maximizer. It's a value of $49. There are over 30 questions, a client story planner, a client story checklist, and a really quick and simple guide that teaches you how to build a client story in 7 steps. If you're like, what the heck is a client story? Think about case studies that you see businesses share. We need to do the same thing in our businesses. What happens is people think, oh, I need a testimonial from my clients. So they'll go to their clients and say, hey, can you send me a couple sentences of a testimonial of what you thought about your photos and working with me? So on so many photographers' websites, you see, OMG, I love my photos, or so-and-so was so wonderful to work with. This session was so much fun, and things like that. But I want you to use your past clients and talk to them about some of the struggles or the hurdles that they faced in booking with you. For example, you might have a client that was like, I was really on the fence about this. I wasn't sure if I really would be comfortable having a photographer in my home. So we all know that if you are doing day in the life sessions or documentary sessions in home, that is a valid concern from a lot of people, that they're not real sure that they want to have someone that's nearly a stranger inside their house. So if you have a blog post that talks about that topic and then shares some of the things of what got that client over that fence and like how the client felt during and after the session, that story could compel a potential client that's having that same concern. So this guide will teach you how to do that. The value of the entire package as a whole is $1,516. All of this stuff is waiting for you right now inside of Fearless and Framed to download. And I'm sure you're like, all right, Marie, hit me with it. What's the sticker price? So for a limited time, your investment is one payment of $497 or I wanted to make it super simple so you could get in on a payment plan, and there's 2 payments of $275. So you would pay one today, and in 30 days, your card would get charged again. So think about this. Just one workshop, if you just run one workshop, even at a steal of a price, you will make your money back from this investment. In addition, there is a just for showing up bonus. This is a bonus call with me that will take place in July. You bring the Q's, I'll bring the A's, and I will also do an exclusive training on hostess coaching. So if you do the workshop incentive program, then you're going to really want to pay attention to this call, because I will share with you my exact techniques that I actually taught an international call for my direct sales company, because I rocked this area, and I'm super excited to teach all of this to you. So again, your limited time investment, the price is going to go up on June 28th. This is introductory pricing. One payment of $497 or 2 payments of $275. You can go to the URL that you see on your screen, fearlessandframed.com/shop/profitable photography workshops for moms. Or to make it easy, you can just click on or go to fearlessandframed.com and then click on shop, and then you'll see the product in there, as well as you will see a button hopefully at the bottom of this screen. I'm not real sure if it popped up for sure, because technology wasn't so friendly to me last week, but there should be a button below this video. Once you're there, when you navigate there, however you get there, you'll see this screen. I just wanted to point this out because I wanted you to see that it's above the add to cart button where it says payment method. That's where you can choose full payment or the 2-pay. Once purchased, all of the items are available in your account for immediate download. Some files are quite large, so make sure you've got a great internet connection. Specifically for the slide deck to my demo, that's a really large file. That's one thing I didn't even tell you guys that I added, is this slide deck that is my workshop demo in a PDF. So that way you don't have to just listen to the video. If you want to skip through slide by slide, you can see that. Also, there are no refunds due to the nature of immediate downloads and the immense amount of downloads that you're receiving. No refunds will be given. Make sure you use these tools before buying. You can email the support team at hello@fearlessandframed.com anytime for support. But again, please don't buy this if you don't intend to get your workshop up and running quickly. So once again, this is everything included. The complete guide to running photography workshops for moms, the workshop demo videos, which is a 4-part video series about 2 hours long, the written workshop demo that you can use as your own outline or transcript, beautifully designed, content-filled, and licensed-to-use slide template, 4 student cheat sheets, the workshop planner, the bonus, the Real is the New Perfect quiz, the bonus of the Facebook group where we can get in there and mingle. I won't be in there necessarily coaching you guys, but it's designed to be there to be a place where you can go and meet other photographers. My team will be in there as well, and I'll pop in there occasionally, but it's really a place for you to ask questions, get feedback from one another, and bounce ideas around and share success stories. And then there's the bonus call that you'll get to be on in July. So for any questions on ordering, hello@fearlessandframed.com is the email address to send messages to. So now it's Q&A time. I'm going to go ahead and start the countdown here. So you've got 15 minutes to get in on that bonus Q&A call and hostess coaching training.